those things, I guess. Oh, meeting is live.
Gary was on it. Oh, Gary's on here, but he don't have any video. I guess he shut his camera off. Pardon?
My video. Let's see. Let me start. See if it's working with this. Yeah, I gotta fix mine. I don't know what the heck is going on because it used to work and now all of a sudden it don't
just
work.
black. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if I
I think Joe's gonna be on, I guess.
yeah, I thought everybody said they were coming.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe said he was one of the first ones to say it was okay. I think he's up in Michigan, I believe.
Well, I think I see something on my screen. It's all
Yep,
dark
yep.
in here.
Yeah. Oh, you're on, John.
Hey, look at me. Now, depending on how this meeting goes, as far as quality here, I might shut my video off.
Yeah, well, I'm going to shut mine off when I got to switch to another document that I want to go over. I made some notes going through those. Jesus, the mountain of bids and shit.
Yeah.
There's Gary's back. Looks like he's still frozen though. Nod your head, Gary. Nope.
Yeah, right now I've got a pretty darn good connection, but man, oh man, sometimes not so good.
Yeah. Well, video takes a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah, that's why I said I might shut mine off if I need to. If it's all good, then I'll leave it on.
Go on there.
Looks like everyone is online. Gary has two connections. One of them is frozen video, and I think he called in for the other one, but he's muted on the other one.
Man, David, you are booming.
Everyone is online. Gary has two connections. One of them is frozen video. Hold on.
Feedback, double talk.
That's me.
Double check.
Okay, sorry. That was YouTube talking a 30-second delay. So we all have audio on YouTube. That's good.
Guess we can go ahead and get started.
We're ready to go. Everyone's here.
Okay.
Except for maybe Gary.
Okay, I'm going to monitor the meeting today because I'm here and Pat's in his pajamas. So let's start the meeting. Let's say our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call. Pat Zalo,
Yeah.
Gary. We know he's here.
Yeah, he's in and out.
Okay. Joe Regenstein,
Here.
John,
Here?
Dwayne,
Here.
and Steve.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any adjustments or corrections to the meeting minutes from our April 19th meeting? If not, I'd like to have a motion to approve.
Motion.
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Pat, you want to give a financial update?
Yeah, hang on one second. I just got to switch screens here.
Okay.
All right, we've got, we're still doing pretty well on our expenses. this month we're about 63,000 under. Our income is up by approximately 15,000. And however, over 14,000 that is from transfer fees. But right now there are only 5 lots for sale. Since I started this for sale list in 2014, there's always been an average of 25 to 30 lots for sale. So I guess it's going to come to an end, counting on some of that revenue from the transfer fees. Another positive is that our legal fees are to date are approximately 14,000 under budget. So if we can keep on like this, we should end up with a pretty good year and still get some stuff done.
Good. Yeah. Thanks, Pat. I had one comment though. You know, on the April 30th report, we had an awful lot of delinquencies. We had
39,000, yes.
in delinquencies.
Letters have gone out to all those, and I think right now if we pull it, it's not that anymore.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Dwayne, can you give us an update, please, on E-section?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. We've got, as everybody I think has been in the resort of the last few weeks, you can see that we did a whole lot of site clearing. We have completed essentially all the site clearing. They ran the chippers out there for all the trees and brush. And this week they've been focusing on removing sort of the last piles of material to get them off the site. We are in the middle of switching contractors for the site work. We had been using Gulf Coast site. We are now starting next week. We're going to be using Earth Tech Enterprises. The reason for the switch is basically Earth Tech is a much bigger firm with direct control over their supply of fill dirt. And the other contractor, Gulf Coast site, was having difficulty getting in line because if you've been watching the news, construction materials of all kinds, truck drivers are all in short supply right now. And in fact, even the clearing work that's being finished this week was supposed to have been done, a couple, 3 weeks ago, but because they had trouble getting trucks out there, it's been a slow process. But we think with Earth Tech, it's going to speed things up a whole bunch. So they'll be out there next week after Memorial Day holiday. And they'll be working steady all the way through until we get the lots finished. We're right now, sort of rebaselining all of our schedules, given all the construction labor and materials shortages, trying to figure out exactly when we can finish the lots. Our best guesstimate right now is still, is around the end of this year. We had hoped we could finish up around October, but it's probably going to be closer to the end of the year. We'd certainly rather get it done sooner rather than later, but we're all in the same boat with everybody else in construction. Just to give you an example, our clubhouse, we were completing our permit drawings to get that permitted, which is in addition to the development permits that we have. And we couldn't even get engineered wood truss vendors to even return our phone calls and give us an estimate on when they could even give us a price to do it, let alone give us the actual engineered truss drawings for months. I mean, some of them were saying, call us back in 6 months. So it's a challenging time to do construction right now. We are certainly, we're doing as much mitigation as we can on that. Just as an example, on the wood trusses, we made a decision this week that we're going to go with steel trusses. We can get those engineered a lot quicker and get the construction underway, sometime this year. With the wood trusses, we wouldn't have even been able to start till next year on the clubhouse. So it's an interesting situation. I've never seen it like this in my whole career where it's this tight. we thought it was tight back in 2004 and 2005, but this is really way beyond even that. In terms of other issues, we've got on the HOA documents front, which of considerable interest to this association. We have had our attorney, she's completed all of the documents for the Laguna Caribe sub HOA. And for the last couple of weeks, she's been working on the amendment and restatement of the existing Cypress Woods documents. And I think she's getting to the point where she should probably have something that she could send over to the Cypress Woods Association, perhaps by the end of next week. So presumably she'll be coordinating with the HOAs, Cypress Woods HOA's attorney, so they can go back and forth and do their lawyerly stuff. But we should have something to look at shortly. And basically the purpose of that amendment and restatement is to do a couple things. One, to restructure things so that there's, Cypress Woods is the master and Laguna Caribe is the sub. And secondly is to, the thing with all HOA documents is they collect sort of cobwebs over the decades. And, all the various amendments. And when you sit down and try to show somebody, okay, here's all the documents, it's like, okay, what does this mean? It's very difficult. So part of the process is to sort of get rid of all the amendments, but include all the things that the amendments do. So it's easy to read, easy to follow. And this is something that HOAs pretty much need to do, every decade or two. It's not uncommon at all. As far as other items.
Hey, Dwayne.
Yes.
Gary and I thank you for that as the folks that went over those documents. Man, oh man, they were tough. Agreed. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And they were tough for me to understand, even going way back when we first initiated discussions with the HOA. Gosh, it's been close to 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, and we're professionals at this, so you can imagine somebody that's just a lay person. Hey, I want to buy a lot. What the hell is this? So this should improve that situation quite a bit. We're not going to try to do anything that changes any of the requirements that are in the existing docs. It's just to make them easier to follow. With respect to marketing, we've completed a series of renderings. I shared a few of those of the pool with this board a few days ago. Those are going to the printer this week, and we're going to be printing up some brochures and posters. We'll put up some stuff in the Welcome Center, which is serving as our sales center. It'll go on the website. As soon as that's available, I'll let the board know so that it can be, everybody can get a sort of a heads up that this is what we're doing. I think we're pretty excited. It looks pretty cool, I think. We've got some pretty nice amenities going in that, to be honest, no other RV resort in the world has this. I mean, we're basically the only one in the world with Caribbean theme and the Caribbean look, and it's pretty nice stuff. I think it's going to be something that's going to generate, I think, a lot of excitement in the marketplace, and we're looking forward to it. So other than that, items that we brought up previously, for instance, like the new sign to go with the front of Cypress Woods, and there was concern that, hey, we don't have anything budgeted for 2020 for the Cypress Woods contribution to that cost, with L26 covering half of it and Cypress Woods covering the other half. Well, right now, if we're going to be opening up, call it January 1st, I mean, we wouldn't need it until then anyway. So that becomes kind of a moot point, and it's just something we can include in the budget planning for 2022. So with that, any questions?
No question, just a comment. Dwayne, I saw the renderings for the pool over there, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. On to maintenance, pothole and asphalt repairs. We had gotten the first bids on about 29 or 30 different areas in the park. And Gary and I went back out again because that was kind of over our budget. It was between 26 and 35,000, I think. So Gary and I went back out again and made a note that even areas where we had repaired before, they're starting to have cracks in them. They're not breaking up. And so is it wasted money to go back and redo those again when it's going to continue to happen? So we tried to whittle down the areas that if they were cracking and actually tearing up, that's what we were going to repair. So you have some proposals in front of you, board. I'd like your comments on them.
Judy,
Yeah.
I looked through some of these bids. I mean, if we were to go with asphalt rejuvenation, or I mean, let driveway maintenance do the repairs, they quoted on 44 spots, they quoted about $6,600. There was another 23 spots roughly that the asphalt rejuvenation was recommended. So even if they were to double their bid, which they shouldn't because it's only about 50% more, I think we're better off getting the driveway maintenance to do the repairs and then because asphalt rejuvenation wants $77,000 to do those 67 spots, as opposed to where you probably get done for 8 or 10. The other thing is we could then award the bid for the seal coating or the asphalt rejuvenation for roughly $75,000, which would not wipe out our road reserve budget. We'd still end up with a good project. The other thing that they wanted, asphalt rejuvenation, if you look at all the roll-ups on their bid, I mean, they're $160,000 plus the permit fees, plus they want an arborist. Every time they have to cut roots, they want an arborist there that we have to pay for. I mean, that thing could easily go to $200,000 for just coating the roadways again. So I would recommend we get the driveway maintenance to do the repairs, plus give them a change order for the rest, and do the seal coating with asphalt rejuvenation. And the other thing I think,
I don't have the quote for the big one on driveway maintenance. I have the one on Bain. The Bain was 26,000 if we did all 77 of those sites.
Well, driveway maintenance was 44 spots for $6,600, and then they had $2,200 for some concrete replacement at the clubhouse. I don't know what that was.
Are you looking at the current driveway maintenance or the one from 2019?
Oh, wait a minute. Should be.
I don't have that one.
I think you're looking at the 2019, because driveway maintenance for the new big list was, in the 30s.
Yeah, it was 36,000. But we could do, Bain Seal Coat would do 77 areas. And that's kind of all of them that David had marked out, and David and Gary at first. We could do all 77 of those areas. That's 26,000. And Bain has an excellent reputation. So if we did the 26,000 for those areas and we did the asphalt restoration, that's 77.4. So we're just a little over 110.
Yeah, the thing with Bain is they are not available until August.
Oh.
They said if we give them approval today, after this meeting, I told them we're meeting today, he said, unless something drastic changes, you're looking at, August, mid-August for the repairs from them. Driveway maintenance can be done in the next 2 weeks, and the other company we had could be the next month. Acme's within the next month, and they're all the same type of repair: hot mix, asphalt, 1.5 inch depth, and they all will cut and remove any of the roots in the areas that they're doing, not just grind them down and pave over top.
Okay, and Acme is at 26,304, and that's for 80 areas.
What,
think
when can asphalt, restorations do
Yeah.
the ceiling? Did they give you an estimate?
Did they give us a date?
We said they're 2 or 3 months behind, but we have to do the repairs 30, they have to be completed 30 days before they can come. But if we plan on the repairs in the next month, we can put them both on the schedule and they'll just come probably in August.
Or August or September?
Yeah. But they do have availability to get that part of it done for us over the summer.
Well, that would work if you get the roads done in August and then they come in the end of August or September.
Yeah, I think before peak season comes in.
Yeah.
We're still not busy there.
Yeah, it's pretty much October when occupancy starts ticking up, right?
Back
A little
up,
bit,
Right.
yeah, some in October.
How long does it take for this asphalt rejuvenation to sort of, settle and to where it's not going to be making tire marks all over everyone's driveway from driving down the roads? Because we want to do it as early as possible to
Right.
sort of minimize that.
It does track. It does track. So you need to stay off of it for a couple of days. Like,
I thought they,
don't
Jody,
drive your golf cart on it and pull up on your pavers. Right, Gary Lawrence?
Well, they used to
Judy, I
pay-
thought they told us 24 hours.
Yeah, it's really about 2 days.
I
But
thought
after
they
that,
blocked
it's
last
pretty
time.
Well, you can
dry.
walk on
Off
it.
the lanes.
You can walk on it, you can't drive on it.
Yeah. So we'd be at 104,000 if we did the two of them. What do we have in road reserves?
Tell you in 1 second. It's right
The other thing you'd have to worry about would be the rain starting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna start ticking up after this weekend.
If it starts raining, they put it down back home like it do. You usually would run sometimes if you get a lot of rain on it.
We got
Or it can't
85,000
drive.
in there.
Well,
That's
what
15,000
rejuvenation
in
does,
operating.
John, I don't know who was asking that, but they inject it into the roadbed. This is not a roll-on, this is an injection.
Is it injected or is it just soak in? I think they
It's
spray it and it
injected.
just soaks down in.
It soaks
Yeah,
down in.
so should be-
Last time we did that was in August of 2015, and we've made these roads last almost 6 years. So it was a good product.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'd say they do tank it or
Dave?
bring like a distributor in with it and spray them.
Yeah, Joe?
They have a machine that comes in and puts this down. And what's interesting is even once it's dried, when you get a big rig that, turns their tires on it and scuffs it, when the sun heats it up, it disappears. It kind of self-heals.
That's good. It's better than the sun bringing it out and bleeding it.
So we have 85,000 in road reserves right now, plus an extra 15,000
In the operating.
in the operating.
repair.
So that would pretty much cover this, if that's what you choose to do as a board.
Sounds like the best plan of attack.
Yeah, we can't, if we don't do it, we're just gonna end up paying more money down the road.
Yep.
When Horsham was out here, and you can see in the report, they really recommended doing as much of the repairs as we could possibly afford. He said that, it doesn't make much sense to put rejuvenation product on the roads that are already cracking and falling apart, from some of these roots. So he said, get as much of those things cut out and, replaced as you can before we do it. Otherwise, as soon as the rains start, we'll be back to square one in a lot of these areas.
Sounds like a plan.
Do you want a
I just-
motion?
I'd like a motion, please.
I'll so make it.
Second,
All right, so the motion is made for Acme to do the repairs for 26,304 and for asphalt rejuvenation at 77,400. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. You'll take care of getting everybody on board, David?
Yeah, Acme and the rejuvenation.
And the rejuvenation.
Got it.
Okay.
Can I backtrack, Judy, for one quick second?
Sure.
Dave,
Yeah.
on repair and maintenance, we're showing over about almost $8,000. Is that where we're putting our water repairs and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, that's where those would go.
70080.
Yes.
All right. One other question. Let me find it because we kind of got past this real quick. Circled it real big too. I can't. Oh, shoot. Oh, never mind. I can't find it now. It had to do with our utilities, especially like in the town center was real high and our water usage was way up.
Well, if you think of it,
Okay,
Joe, we
here
can
it
come
is.
back.
540770. We're about 6,700 over water sewer.
Yeah, it's always high early in the year. You know, this just doesn't break down, like it divides it evenly for the full year, but we're busiest and use the most water January, February, March. It tapers down over the summer and pretty much stays down until November. So that should even out like it did last year.
Works for me. I was just asking.
Yeah, those are just the 4 highest months, but then we'll be cut down significantly.
Yeah, because I was a little concerned because our occupancy was also down.
A little. We had a lot of rentals.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the Welcome Center pool. What are your comments, board?
Well, I think Dwayne recommended his guy and he came in with a pretty good price and they're willing to start, right, Dave?
Yeah, Rockstar, they wanted to come in and get it done before moving on to Dwayne's pool. So they wanted to do that in, June or July and be done by the end of July.
I make a motion, we go with Rockstar and get it started, get it done. 2.5 years rolling around with it.
For just the pool or the deck also?
Pardon me?
Just the pool surface, or are we talking about the deck part of the quote as well?
I think
Oh, okay, you got the deck quote. It's a separate quote though, right?
It's a separate quote, and I'll tell you, everyone's concern with the pavers was the doorways there. They said you would have to grind the concrete in front of the doorways and add, like a different type of thin paver, because you don't want the water to pull up and run into those doorways, but you can't raise the surface in front of the doorways because they're sort of fixed on top of the concrete. So they said like the thickness of the pavers would cause a problem. Most people seem concerned about that, but they all said it can be worked through. And the other option was the Surface Works spray deck, which is basically the texture of the exterior of the stucco buildings, maybe a little bit softer on your feet, but a painted spray deck. And they would come in, chip off all of the existing skim coat and that decorative overlay on the concrete, get it down to concrete, spray on the deck and paint it. Which is significantly less. That'd be about $15,000 plus some edge tiles. So it's saving money, and it may, with these other ones, we have to plan for some sort of potential problem in front of our doorways when they get to it. If there's, something that they can't figure out, then the cost may increase because they have to re-pour something. Just to be aware of that on top of any of the paver prices.
The 2.5, we did all of that with Rockstar, that would be 72,000. And Tri-City is at almost 70,000, so it's about $2,000 difference with maybe a better outcome.
Well, yeah, and Surface Works is significantly less on that also. And the other ones, Surface Works actually did that original pool deck. But again, it just depends on what kind of material you want, if it's pavers or just a concrete spray deck.
I think the pavers are just going to be too much of a problem. We don't really need to have a water problem in that building from putting pavers down. make the spray deck, they scrape that stuff off and spray, it'll be like, just be like concrete, like around anybody else's pool.
Mhm.
Hey, Judy, are we talking both the pool and the spa?
Let me see. I have to take a look. I can't remember.
I know.
I don't think Rockstar included the spa in the
Rockstar
quote.
didn't include the spa.
No.
I'll have to go back
Well,
and
they
see.
did a thin set
Yeah.
coating on the pool and spa perimeter.
Yeah.
They would have to do that with the, if they're doing pavers.
Right.
It changes.
But their quote is to install a 1/4-inch thick travertine painters on the entire pool deck.
Mhm.
And Pat, are you saying you don't want pavers?
Pardon me?
Are you saying you don't want pavers on the pool deck?
I think if you're gonna put pavers on the pool deck and it's gonna raise it up so that there's a potential water problem at the doors, I don't think that's a smart move.
Well,
What if they-
but the Rockstar's quote says they're gonna remove sections of the concrete deck in front of the clubhouse entry doors to accept the new travertine pavers, so they must take into account the water in the doors.
They did, so they would have to, if you picture, you're adding like an inch or whatever the paver thickness is over the
Yeah.
full deck, that area to make the doors open will still be an inch lower than that. So there'll be some sort of slope going in, and you just have to hope that water doesn't drain and pool in those areas, which is what they're hoping. So there's some things they can do to mitigate it. Concrete, like sort of an edge between the door threshold and the pavers. So as long as it doesn't go higher than the pavers, it shouldn't go into the building. But that area, the pavers themselves, will have to be about an inch lower than the rest of the deck. So
Just what this drawing.
I just, Judy, I just noticed on Rockstar at the very bottom, it says, wash existing finish on the spa interior. So they are
Oh, yeah.
doing something to that.
Acid wash it.
oh yeah, that's what all of the companies that they all, I guess they didn't give a quote for it. They did all say that the finish on that is fine. It just needs an acid wash, and we have another several years of life out of it. And to redo a spa is much less work than the entire pool. So that's not something that needs to be done right now. But if you just want to get it all done at once, most of the quotes were right around $7,000-8,000 for that.
I think the spa
Yeah,
was
but
done a
also-
few years back anyhow.
Also,
think we-
Rockstar, if the lights don't work in the pool, they're gonna charge $900 a piece to replace them.
But you
Yeah,
know,
they'll need replaced anyway. Those things are rusted and epoxied together.
Well, yeah, but how many lights are we talking?
2.
Oh, okay, so you're looking at $1,800 more, right?
Right. All of the quotes had lights separately. They were all listed as an addition.
Yeah.
None of them were included.
getting back to the pool deck, it just makes me a little nervous where you're gonna have a low section right there. You got all that concrete and a low section in front of those doors. That's just a lot of water accumulating there with no place to go but the low spot, which is in front of the doors. I'm really a little leery about that.
Well, I'll tell
Yeah, I
you right
tend to
now,
agree.
even though there's an awning, we get water piling up and, kind of intruding in that area anyway. The door on the back of the office, it floods enough under there in our heavy rains in the summertime that it starts to pool into the building around the doorways, even without being lower than the rest of the deck.
Could you
Dave,
install some type of a slotted channel that would sort of be the circumference around that area that would direct,
Take the water.
water to somewhere off to the side as opposed to right in front of the door?
Maybe they'd have to saw cut a channel through the whole deck and install some sort of drainage pipe, but I'm sure it's possible.
Dave, why can't they use a drain, like you see around pools, the U-shaped square U with the slots on the top?
That's
Cut
what
it below
Blaine's
by the
talking about, I
doors,
believe.
Drain the stuff away from the doors.
Yeah, we already have those, but those have to be, when we have that, or the edge of the awning on the back of the building, there's already one that runs the entire length of that awning, but it's, you know, it's not enough. You would have to run it from each of the doorways and still try to make it look good with all these extra lines going. They'd have to be saw cut into the existing concrete, and those drains themselves, those just help the water leap off from the deck. They don't channel it anywhere off of the deck because they're not pitched to channel that water away. So it just sort of pools there and then slowly seeps into the ground.
If you've already got water seeping in there now, with it being at the level it is, and you're talking about creating a depression, you're going to just compound the problem, in my opinion.
Well, wouldn't the answer to actually be to fix both problems? I mean, if you already got a problem, why don't we fix it, which will fix the other problem? I mean, it sounds like you're already getting water in there. You don't want that.
When we get heavy enough rains, yeah, that entire area of the deck pulls up. I mean, you'll get, you know, a solid ½ inch to an inch of water over the entire surface under the awning because it pulls up that much. If you look at it, it's not a flat surface where that little drain channel is. Everything on both sides of the deck slopes to there. That's the low spot. But it can't handle these summertime rains. When it's pouring out there, it just floods. It's a giant puddle.
You know, either it sounds like that needs to be fixed while we're doing this. So why not fix that, which will fix the other thing, and then do the job, you know, basically right.
Yeah, but you got to get someplace for the water to go. Like you said,
You
you're
have
going
to
to have
pump it.
to
You might have to pump it. You might have to some pump like we do in basements, if you know, up in our area.
Either that or we'd have to cut probably 2 new drain, like discharge pipes running, one into the preserve area and the other one all the way out by the gate and entrance, you know, over by A section, run them out that way and try and channel the water out. But they would have to be pitched, you know, much lower than that concrete deck right now. They'd end up being 2 feet deep at the edges in order to get that water to run out of there. So
Why don't we ask for a bid for that?
What about a French drain?
well, either way, Joe, you're still cutting. You still have to cut down below the concrete.
Right.
Well,
You know,
you're digging in the grass and the dirt, you know, drop, you know, a 7x7 hole, let the water sit in there and evaporate.
Do you want water pooling up underneath that deck? No.
No. You run it off to the side of it, Judy, but because I use a French drain on 56 because I couldn't get enough slope to go to the lake, and the water just runs into that and evaporates. It just sits and it evaporates out of there, but it's away from the pad. You put it a few feet off the pad and it'll evaporate. You may need a bigger one than what I have at 56, but just a thought.
David, if we had problems with that over the last 20 years, other than it does pull and it goes away, does it go in the doors?
We do get a little bit of water that occasionally in heavy rains makes it over those thresholds. I mean, it doesn't last very long. We typically don't get a full day of heavy rain here, but when it comes down and you get, you know, 4 inches in an hour, there's no drain on the planet that'll keep that unless you slope the whole deck. There's just not enough drainage to handle the amount of water that we're going to get in Florida, especially without gutters on the back of the building. You're also getting all of the water that pools off of the backside of that building falling off, 10 feet from the doors. So it's a significant amount of water. But it's not a very common problem. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. I'm sure
So what's
there's
the
water
problem
issues.
with keeping it the way it is?
There's no problem keeping it the way it is if we do another concrete spray deck. The concern was if we do a paver deck and have to lower the elevation in front of the entrances.
That's
Oh, I
right.
agree
That's
with
right.
that.
We just don't want to make it worse. But if we do a spray deck, leave it exactly how it is now, you know, it's probably fine.
So Rockstar would have to revise their quote.
For Rockstar was only gonna do a paver deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guy was doing the spray deck, and he's talking about scraping off that concrete layer that's there and then putting a spray deck on top of it, which is basically like a stucco type finish, I imagine. So that way, we'll probably be lowering it by at least about 1/4 of an inch from what it is right now.
Yes.
If you ground off, you are.
I think pavers is just a bad move. I mean, it'd be nice to see it, but I think we're just going to be asking for problems.
I agree.
Okay.
I also think at some point we may need to look at putting gutters up to get some of that water away also.
Yeah, that's a good
problem.
point.
So as a board, are you proposing we do the Rockstar pools for the pool repair, and then you want to move to what, Tri-City
Yes, that was what I was thinking.
for the deck?
Yes.
Tri-City for the deck, not Surface Works for the deck.
I'm sorry?
We like Tri-City's deck quote more than Surface Works deck quote.
You're coming through all garbled though for me.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
sorry.
all garbled.
Judy, do you want to try? So Tri-City Pools is 32,364
Yeah,
for the pool deck.
and Surface Works is,
15,000 plus pavers around the pool, which may be up to another 5,000 because they'll have to be changed because the elevation is changing a bit.
Oh, yeah, Surface Works, that's why I thought we were doing two separate bids here.
yeah,
Rockstar do the refurbishing of the pool.
Right.
Surface Works do the pool deck.
Best pools.
Okay.
okay.
Or my,
Yeah, because we had two concrete pool deck resurfaces. Tri-City was one and Surface Works was the other, but Surface Works is about half of Tri-City. So the cheaper option is Surface Works, and that's what they specialize in.
right, that's what I thought we were looking at.
Okay,
All right.
I'll make a motion.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
All right, David, Rockstar and Surface Works.
One other thought just for this thing, if the doorways are a problem because of rainwater, might putting some kind of a canvas awning over it, get the water out farther, be of help?
Canvas on and off of that existing overhang on the back of the building.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you a little space, get the water running away from the wall.
Would we be better off with gutters?
Yes,
Yeah, I think gutters would
Gutters
be
would be better.
much more cost effective. Just channel that away from the area. I am looking at shades. I had Coastal come out, and there's another company called, I think Shade Works or something in Fort Myers that do those Australian sail shades. So we're waiting on quotes from both of those also to have some shade put on that pool deck. And
yeah, we
possibly-
talked about that last meeting.
Yeah. Coastal's been out, the other company, they just did like an aerial measurement, but they want to come out and look at it. But the time to install that would be like before the final surface is put onto the pool deck. But I have no idea on price from either of them. You know, Coastal, they looked at some other things for us and their prices were about triple what I think anyone else expected for an awning over the golf carts at the guard shack and over the benches on the tennis courts. They were just astronomically high.
What about a sunsetter awning for over by the guard shack?
Is that one that connects to the building
Yeah,
and
cantilevers
comes out?
That sunscreen thing?
I don't know how well those do in
The wind.
you know, in wind and storms, and that's really what the protection is
Yeah.
from. It's not something you'd want to leave up, I don't think.
Nope.
He recommended a freestanding,
With
full poles
poles.
putting. putting an awning over it, not connecting to the building at all.
Sounds like it'd be cheaper to put gutters up.
No, this is for the golf carts.
Oh, sorry. Missed
Let's
Yeah, we
finish
can-
with one thing.
Yeah,
Why don't we
let's
stick
not
with
get
one thing at a time?
sidetracked.
Right there by the guard shop.
Let's do our vote.
To put a gazebo like we got.
Where is that plan?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't that work, David?
What's that?
The gazebos we're putting in the park, why wouldn't that work for the golf carts? You can park them under like we do.
Yeah, permitting is probably an issue. At our front
Back to the
entrance.
pool, we need a
They'll never
vote.
see it. When they come, they won't pay no attention to it.
Yeah, or we can spray paint it, camouflage colors.
Another
Don't we need a
meeting.
vote on the pool?
Did we ever vote on the pools yet?
I don't think so.
I think Joe made a motion
Yeah,
and
before
Dwayne
we go
seconded.
wandering off.
Yeah, but I don't think we ever voted on it.
Oh, all in favor of accepting the bid from, let me see here, from Rockstar Pools and
Surface.
Surface Works.
Aye.
A total
Aye.
of 41,000, correct?
Oh, it was.
Well, gotta add it up,
Gotta add it up.
26 and 15. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Roughly.
yeah,
I mean, be prepared for a few smaller additions like the lights.
yeah.
And coping tiles. They
Coping
said could be another few thousand, depending on the way the edge has to change.
Increase.
So the order to do this in, Surface Works would come in, do the prep work for the deck. They'll grind everything off or chip everything off. Let the Rockstar Pools come in, do the pool itself, and then at the end they'll come back in and do their final spray coat once the pool is ready to go.
Any additional comments or concerns on that?
Should we consider allowing up to, say, $50,000 for the project go with that company? Is it going to be that much? A couple more thousand, or so we don't have to deal with this again?
That's probably a safe bet with any, issues that we find. We also have to do a leak test on there and make sure that concrete surface is not sinking below in between the pool and the pool equipment. But that's, $500 for a leak test, and Surface Works can check the
that.
concrete and tell us if it's compromised under there.
I move we allow up to 50,000 in budget for this project and let David handle the details.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, David.
Okay. Now next.
Okay,
Front side.
the front sign entrance, do we want to table that until later on and plan for it in the budget as Dwayne indicated earlier? Or do you want to review that now?
That works.
All right, we'll table that for later on for budget presentation. Pro Audio.
Judy, I'm sorry, what do we do about the signs?
We're gonna just table that for right now.
Yeah, do it as a 2022 budget approval.
Yeah, when it goes up.
Is the audio quote not in this packet?
I don't know, I got it. Do you have the audio quote?
You sent that as a conversation separate.
Yeah, it came out the other day. Yeah.
Let me see if I
It
got
was
an
on
extra
the
copy.
thing pad. What was it?
Nope, I don't have it. It's not in the packet.
Oh, it was in the.
Hey, by the way, not to backtrack on us too much, but are we looking at rejuvenating the landscaping around this deck as well?
That was the thing we discussed at the last meeting. Once the deck is done, we talked about getting some shade and something on the landscaping, but that's after we get everything else
If we
done.
get everything done.
The one thing that we really should do at this time, and Surface Works, even though it's not written on here, when he was out here, that was included in the quote, was to remove those palm tree planters. There's 3 of them around the deck that are filled with gravel and mold all the time because water just pools up in there. So to remove those palm trees and just concrete them in and eliminate that, because I don't think they add anything but dirt to the pool deck.
Yeah.
Right, that's what we talked about the last meeting.
Mhm.
Okay, do you guys, have you seen the quote from Pro Audio for changes to our audio system here? The current one is working but barely, right, David?
It's for the pool deck. We put new speakers in, we put new volume switches, but one of the amplifiers is pretty much dead. And this would also enable Bluetooth control from the outside. So water aerobics and anyone else wouldn't have to go inside the Omni room and access the locked up equipment in order to play their water aerobics, instructions or whatever that is. So this fixes sort of a long-term request from the water aerobics and fixes the repairs that need to be done, which is replace the amplifier and I guess a couple other little miscellaneous things. In the end, we should have working pool audio and access from the outside.
This was all part of the big master $55,000 plan, so we chip away at that thing, we can get some of this stuff done. So I think we should get that working before we blow out those speakers.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 2755, right, David?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll make a motion. We accept the bid from Pro Audio Services.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So you'll contact them.
Yep, we'll get that going, and that's installed price, so
well, good, thank
we'll be good.
Let's see, that kind of takes care of what we had on the agenda. I had a couple of things. I checked yesterday with Spires on where our audit is. It should be done the second week in June. That's what they're anticipating now.
Second week in June, Judy?
In June, yeah. It should be done in about 2.5 weeks.
Be something that's not being blamed on COVID.
Well,
I think Doug was working from home anyway.
I think he's working from home too. A couple of things that came to my attention. The storage area that we have here, the gates are not being locked at night. How do we fix that?
Well, usually
Is this directed towards me or Dwayne? Which gates are we talking about?
The one on our side that comes into our park for our owners to access. I know we have signs up there, but
We have signs, and if I lock it before I leave, there's people who still use
I know
it
this
well
at
after.
night.
I think we really just have to instruct the people using it. Look, this is your stuff. Lock it up. when
Lock
you're
it
done.
up.
when you come out last, you're supposed to lock it.
Yeah, after 3:30 is what the sign
3:30,
says.
yeah.
I think one of the problems though, if no one wants to take the time to lock that at 4 p.m. when the two side construction gates are going to be open until 7 o'clock, so that's not an excuse, but that's what people, why lock the one from Cypress Woods when the other two are open to whoever wants to come down that easement?
I don't know, maybe we could do another email blast or something and
Brittany, get
Lock
the
up.
list of people who have storage, say, just
Yeah.
please lock up when you're done. And Dwayne, you said your contractors are locking up at 7 o'clock at night?
Yeah, they'll take care of those gates, but they did, as I brought up in an email exchange a few days ago, our contractors also suggested closing but not locking the gate during construction work hours, just as kind of an additional, discouragement to contractor people from wandering into the Cypress Woods Park, and secondarily to at least serve as a reminder to people from Cypress Woods that when they go through that gate during construction hours, it's a construction site and they need to have their head on a swivel.
Well, when is your major dirt hauling starting?
Well, it's starting next week. They'll be hauling dirt in and so forth. Probably the peak of it will be, towards the middle to the end of the month.
Sure.
But even outside of that, I mean, it's not just dirt hauling. I mean, what I'm concerned with personally is that, people are not used to having construction people driving through there. And even though they're not going to be flying through there at 50 miles an hour, if they're driving a truck that's loaded with, 30 tons of stuff, whether it's dirt or, pavers or trusses or what have you, I mean, and somebody steps in front of them, from 10 feet away, they're not going to stop in time. So I just, we don't want to prohibit people from going in, but we just think that having the door shut with a sign saying, and we'll provide the sign at our expense, sign saying, hey, this is a construction area, please, be careful, or something to that effect.
Well, we should have one at the entrance to our part on the west gate. Put one of those same signs just to jog people's memories.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Gary.
Yeah.
Dwayne, if you get us that sign, we'll pop it up there, but I think that's a good idea, leaving that thing closed. I mean, there's really no reason it should be open when not in use anyway.
Right. Doesn't have to be locked.
Right.
We have the neighborhood watch and security crew. Maybe we can have them check that gate each night around us, if it's 7 o'clock, then it's 7 o'clock, whatever time. I mean,
I think that's a 2-man show this time of year.
Yeah.
So if those two, no, they're left.
Yeah, they're not here.
So they're gone.
Well, good. Well, then we'll give them that job.
they can't say no.
That's right.
Dwayne, one quick question. You said in one of your communications that you're going to be hauling about 500 trucks a day. I know originally you said 300, but was that the total count?
No, it'll be 500 plus trucks a day during the, sort of the peak hauling. And, that's a lot of traffic. I mean, that's a lot of trucks per hour.
How much dirt do you have to bring in?
We have approximately 100,000 yards of fill dirt.
Oh,
Is that wide enough for two-way traffic?
no,
No way.
no.
It doesn't seem like it. A pickup truck takes the whole way.
Yeah, what we'll have is we'll have a couple of turnouts on the FBL Hall Road. Probably one towards the south, and on the property that we're leasing, or between the storage area and the boundary of that property, and then another one at the north end, so that when trucks are opposing, one can pull off and let the other through. But yeah, it'll be, considering that those 500 trucks make 2 passes, that's a lot of passes.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Dwayne, I was thinking about this the other day after somebody mentioned the folks on Angus complaining to Brittany. Any chance of putting up a sign, at the entrance to Angus that says, comments, about this, call some other number other than us?
Well, we're Earth Tech Enterprises, our new site work contractor. They're going to put up a series of signs, and that's a good point, because they're going to put signs up at that entrance on Angus Lane, and it'll have all the usual, like you say, information, who's doing it, where to call if there's an issue. But they're also going to, we'd like to put up some signs at the entrance to Cypress Woods at the turnoff from Luckett. And, maybe, I don't think the county will object, just put one or two signs up on the actual termination of Luckett Road that would basically say, this isn't a construction entrance, go turn right, and so that we don't have, here's the thing, and this is kind of the same mentality behind closing the gate, to Cypress Woods from the storage area. it's all well and good to say that so-and-so is the contractor and they're in charge, but you know, it's not just one guy's team. There's going to be all kinds of subcontractors, all kinds of suppliers, you know, vendors bringing in shipments, and you know, they don't talk to our prime contractor. I mean, they just show up. They work for so-and-so the pipe company or so-and-so the paper company. And so anyway, when you don't make it really clear where they're supposed to go, they're going to go to the wrong place. And with respect to going through that gate in the storage area, if they see an open gate, that's like an invitation. Hey, come on through. And you can put up all the signs you want that don't go there, but if they see an open gate, the mentality is people will use it. So that's what we're going to try to address with a variety of signs. And hopefully, I mean, there will still be screw ups. I guarantee it. There's going to be somebody showing up at the Cypress Woods main gate with a flatbed truck of stuff because they didn't read the, pardon my French, the stupid signs. You know, that happens. I mean, we can't guarantee it won't, but we'll try our best to make sure that we minimize that.
Hey, Dwayne, are you going to water or are you going to let Mother Nature do it? Keep the dust.
Well, the Mother Nature is supposed to start showing up this weekend. And, you know, if she does, and we expect that's what the forecast says, and then they're basically saying rain every day until, you know, October, we shouldn't really have a dust problem. You know, we knew we weren't going to do the bulk of our trips until the rainy season anyway. So
Are you going to go ahead? I'm sorry.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, we could put, you know, magnesium chloride and spray it on the road, and then you got to reapply it every few months. We're hoping to avoid that by, you know, relying on Mother Nature.
Are you going to run when it's raining also? Because, you know, what about if it's raining and they're coming out and you come on the Luckett Road, are you going to have anything out there to sweep or in case if it builds up on Luckett Road in front of the park and stuff?
Well, there shouldn't be anything building up there because the Holstein Drive is kind of a macadam surface. It's not just bare lime rock. So the bare lime rock is on Pulse or on Angus Lane. So by the time they get to Luckett, there shouldn't be anything on the tires.
Any other questions for Dwayne? I just have another question for David. On our maintenance area out on Luckett Road, we used to always keep those gates shut.
I've been telling them, and you know, it'll be shut for a couple of days, but I'll get back on them on shutting
They
that.
forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not forgetting. It's, you know, they just don't.
Yeah. Because
Fair enough to
it's
stop.
just too convenient for somebody to walk in there and take something out of the buildings and nobody's back there.
That's it. Those are the best cameras we have in the whole park.
Yeah, I know. But by the
Yeah, I know.
time somebody's taking something, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to do that. You know, that area, we've been trying to clean it out. Chris cleans it out, sort of getting ready for, you know, a move out of that area and to close it down. And then it just sort of builds back up. But yeah, we'll tell him to keep it shut in Aurelia.
Thank you. Pat, do you have anything on the maintenance area relocation?
It's pretty much on hold right now.
Okay.
We're not getting too much response from the county as far as making changes. You know, as far as being able to even do what we want, we either have to regroup and cut it down considerably, or go back to Plan B, which is over in the storage area. So we're going to have to look at that a little closer. I do have a question on something else, though, Dave. What's the status on those Royals in D?
Yeah, me too.
Well, Neil wanted to wait for some rain, and I am not really pushing Neil. Like I'm sure everyone knows, we did send the maintenance contract out to bid. I don't know that we're going to get anything useful from them, but Neil has been pretty much, you know, as far as supervision goes, non-existent in the park. Mark's been making his rounds, you know, once a week, very little contact with me from either one of them. I think after the last sort of round of issues we had, they're just, doing the bare minimum and getting by. I mean, they're responding to issues, but they're not in a hurry to do that $10,000 worth of work. But Mark did say, wait until it rains, so we can have sufficient water on those, knowing our irrigation system. And it's probably a good thing we didn't put them in, because our irrigation system was down for a couple days. It is back up and running, by the way.
I didn't think ours came on last night.
It should. D's running, because there's a small leak in D that we need R&R to come deal with, but we're not shutting the pump down over that small leak. It's just in an area that it's not a big deal.
Wet or not, last week came back. The front part, I couldn't tell.
Have to watch Sunday. Watch for
But
Sunday.
it's running right now. Chris ran last night. The computer died, and it caused we had hardware and software issues all together. We reinstalled all the software with the manufacturer, and it still didn't work. We had to replace a cable. We don't know what happened. A lightning strike, a power surge, something knocked out a good portion of that system, and that controller that we have isn't manufactured anymore. So if the controller happens to go out, we're looking at like $500,000 to get a working irrigation system, because we have to replace all of the decoders in the park. But luckily, that didn't happen. We're in good shape for now. And the manufacturer, he spent hours on the phone with Chris and I trying to get that thing working. So we're good to go.
Okay, good. I almost had the big one.
No, not yet.
All right. How about a new hire? How are we coming?
I have nothing. We had 2 applications, tried repeatedly, neither of them showed up for interviews. I have it listed as a maintenance helper, and with a pretty clear description of, you could be doing these things, but you're assisting the maintenance person. It's a lot of digging and labor, and at $15 to $17, nobody is applying. First Service has 2 maintenance positions open for the same price. The other one's been posted for about a month longer than ours, and they have no applicants either.
We just changed the title to maintenance assistant.
That's what it says, is maintenance assistant on the thing. We'll train right candidate and no experience. All of this, we're not looking for a skilled person, but $15 an hour isn't enough to entice someone to work when they're still getting COVID unemployment.
Yeah.
But no one can find anything. We can probably go to labor finders at this point and get, just some labor help. We have with 2 real projects that we need them for, is digging out the water saddles, so we can have the plumber come in and do the replacements. And then when we start on that fence, but that fence will probably be a couple week-long project. Right. So.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and I do have one update. We talked about the delinquencies earlier in the meeting. It's about $7,000, a little under $7,000.
Okay.
So, and most of that is actually one house that the owner passed away, and their son is working on, taking over the payments and getting, working in probate, I guess, trying to get some things resolved. But we've had contact with that person, so, realistically, we're under $4,000.
Okay.
Far better than 39,000.
Yes.
Yes. Any other questions? Anybody in the audience have any issues you'd like to bring up? Jack Schatzel, we knew you would. Over there.
Wait.
No. I'm sorry.
That's the camera.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that would be kind of cute.
Okay, my concern is about the road repairs and rejuvenation. The road repairs, I agree with 100%. Anything that's cracked needs to be fixed. Because water gets into the subbase, that's what causes major damage. Now, myself, with my own experience working for one of the largest blacktop companies in southern Ohio, the rejuvenation, he said, is a waste of time. The state of Florida said the rejuvenation is pretty much a waste of time. And if you think about this, go out in the country, the non-blacktop roads in the state, do you see anyone rejuvenating? No, because it's a waste of time. My suggestion is take that $77,000 and put it in the road repair budget and ease down. Talk to their blacktopper and see what he will do to come out here and put the finish coat on this. Our roads aren't in as bad a shape as people think they are if we fix what's cracked, what's broke. That's where you get into trouble. If you don't stop that, then it gets worse quickly. So, my opinion, 77,000 would be far better spent to put in an account and leave it, do road repairs. That's important. That has to be done. Otherwise, it'll just keep spreading. But put that 77,000 back on what he's done. Then we'll look about a year or two, resurfacing. And we're done.
Jack, the resurface that you're talking about, you mean like kind of grind down and put a new layer of asphalt on?
I'm not sure you have to grind it down, because there's places in here, if you grind it down, you're on the sub-base.
Mm-hmm. So just to put a layer on top of it.
Just clean it up, repair it. I don't think you have to grind it down. I'll tell you how to grind down in Ohio and Kentucky, Tennessee, is when you're too high. Mm-hmm. They grind it down and they reuse it, and they can put and the same here in Florida, you can put a percentage of it back in the asphalt and use it, reuse it. But most of the time, you just grind it down is because you're already too high, or the road's just completely shot and you're just basically starting over. But I don't see anything in here that needs to be ground down.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, you're just, the guys that do it, they like that because they're making money.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
in my opinion,
If we're doing a small section of the roads, that may be feasible. The 2018 reserve study estimated over $600,000 for the asphalt. They just call it resurface. And that was for all of the roadways, but that was 2018 prices. 2019, before COVID, we had a couple ballpark estimates of about $1 million. And then now, after a year of COVID, the way everything has gone up, we could be
1.3.
Oh yeah, I mean, who knows? Just much more than it would have been 5 years ago. So, that's $77,000 going into it. I don't think makes a huge dent. It's it's going to be a special assessment when it comes time. So anything you can do to extend the life,
Right.
or nothing, and just save the money and put it towards that 4 or 5 years from now, but. I just doing a small section of it, I don't know how far you'll go with $77,000.
Not very far.
No.
the Blacktop Company up in Jacksonville, Florida is owned by the guy that I used to work with, his son. And he has a big company in Jacksonville. And I called him and he said, Jack, it's a waste of time. He said, it's a Band-Aid on a major sore. He said, leave it go, keep your repairs up, and then a couple of years down the road, and whenever it deems necessary, then we finish it.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the board?
I just like to point out that when we did this before, Judy, you're well aware of it, and so is Pat.
Yep.
They told us we'd get 5 years out of it, and we've stretched it to 7, almost 8 years.
6 years.
2015.
2015, we did it in August.
Oh, all right.
And we can get 6 more years out of it. That's going to be a lot better.
I think so. If you want to start putting money away towards a replacement, that's fine, but we're not there yet.
In the asphalt restoration quote, we talked about the rejuvenation. I believe there's a third quote in there that's not repairs. It's for seal coating and restriping the parking lots. That was separate from the rejuvenation. I don't think we talked about that, but he said these parking lots appear to have been seal coated at some point in the past, so they can't use their rejuvenation product on them, and they would have to just be re-seal coated and striped. And so the only benefit to that is aesthetics. It wouldn't do anything for prolonging the life of those parking lots.
This is Dwayne real quick. I could barely hear anything that's being said over the microphones in the town center ballroom. I hear everything perfectly clearly from those that are logged in through.
John can't hear us either.
Through
any of the mics.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
the
it's
gain
like
is
they're
way
all, they
too
all
high.
sound like they're being overdriven, to where it's just nothing but
Garble. Just
feedback.
garble.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually better, David, when you're not up on the mic. You just back away from the mic.
Yeah.
It's better.
It's
Okay.
overmodulated.
Well, luckily this meeting's almost over, and we'll, when we have pro audio out here for the rest of the pool work, we'll see if they can iron out more of these issues.
Okay.
David, you're better, but when Jack was speaking up on the other mic, you could barely understand.
Okay, so everyone, forget everything we've said for the last couple of years about getting close to the microphone. It's not working right now. Stand, talk very far away, and it should be good.
Any other areas of discussion? Pat?
Yes. No, I'm good.
No, Pat, this is Pat Check.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you're not good.
Shut up, you.
Hi, Pat Babanachek on B31.
Talk into the mic.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to stay
It
away.
was better before.
Can you hear
And
now?
back.
Is it okay now?
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
I just wanted to ask about the fence over in B. There's trees that are hanging over it and they're pulling the fence down.
What's the summer project we're gonna have to do?
I know, but the summer's quite a ways off.
No,
Really
it's
hanging over
summer.
the fence.
From which side?
Well,
From Country Lakes onto our property or the
Yes.
other way?
yeah,
Yeah.
but there's two, one right behind me and there's one up a little further. The whole tree is hanging over the fence and it's pulling it right down.
We'll
So
look
the
at
longer it
it.
stays there.
Well, we're replacing, most of those posts are rotten and broken anyway, so we're going to be straightening out the whole thing, and we'll just cut everything with the chainsaw that's in our way and damaging that fence.
Yeah, because it isn't going to stay up much longer.
Yeah.
And there are cement blocks in front of the fence in back of my house.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put them there, so I don't know how they got there. I can't lift them.
I don't know where they would,
I don't know what they're doing there. I have put plants up against the fence where there's holes
Mm-hmm.
to keep the animals out. But the plants aren't doing anything, but
No.
the fence is going to be down very shortly.
yeah, that's one of the projects we're trying to hire a second helper for,
Yeah.
to dig holes and do some of that labor, and no one wants to work.
Well, they're getting paid more staying home.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have two big summer projects, and that's the other one.
Yeah.
So that and fixing people's water pressure. So
Okay.
it'll get done and we'll cut it all
Thank you,
out.
Pat.
Thank you. Anything else? If not, do I have a motion for dismissal?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
All right.
Aye.